The Hidden Titan. The Keldorian Empire had ruled the Orion Arm for 3,000 years. Their sleek obsidian ships patrolled the star lanes with impunity, their gravity weapons could tear planets apart, and their diplomats spoke with the confidence of those who had never known true defeat. When they discovered Earth and its burgeoning space colonies in 2189, they were initially amused by humanity's primitive warp technology and unrefined terraforming methods. Such charming little creatures, High Commander Vorthal had said during first contact, his translucent blue skin rippling with what humans would later learn was condescension. Barely 300 years into space travel, and already so proud of their achievements. Admiral Elena Reyes had been a captain then, standing at attention beside the UN Secretary-General as the 7-foot-tall Keldorian delegation towered over the human representatives. She had bitten her tongue at Vorthal's patronizing tone, but her brown eyes had burned with determination. That night, she had written in her journal, "They underestimate us. That will be their mistake." 10 years later, that mistake was about to become apparent. Reyes now stood on the command deck of Lunar Base Artemis, her admiral's uniform crisp despite the 18-hour shift she had just completed. At 55, her black hair was streaked with silver, but her posture remained ramrod straight, a testament to 30 years in Earth's United Space Command. "Status report on Operation Titan," she asked her executive officer. Commander Jackson Chen pulled up a holographic display showing a massive structure hidden within the hollowed-out asteroid Ceres. "Final system checks complete, Admiral. The Defiance is ready for deployment on your command." Reyes nodded, allowing herself a small smile. For 8 years, humanity had been building their answer to Keldorian supremacy in absolute secrecy, while officially cooperating with the Empire's technological exchange program, which amounted to little more than the Keldorians taking Earth's resources in exchange for outdated tech. The United Earth government had been pooling every resource into a single audacious project. "And they still have no idea?" Reyes asked. "No, ma'am. The quantum dampening field has masked all construction activity. As far as the Keldorians know, Ceres is just a mining colony providing them with precious metals." The Admiral's tablet chimed with an incoming transmission. It was from Earth's Defense Minister Zhang. "Admiral, we've received another ultimatum from the Keldorian Diplomatic Corps. They're demanding increased dilithium shipments and access to our Mars terraforming facilities. The Security Council has voted. We're done bowing to their demands." Reyes straightened her shoulders. "Then it's time. Inform the Council that Operation Titan is go." Across the solar system, the Keldorian administrative vessel Imperial will hovered above Earth's atmosphere. Inside, diplomatic overseer Mal Drath reviewed the latest reports on human compliance with Imperial directives. Their production has decreased by 17%. She noted to High Commander Vorthal, who had returned to the Earth system after supervising the subjugation of the Centaur colonies. "They claim resource depletion, but our scans indicate otherwise." Vorthal's facial tendrils twitched with irritation. "The humans grow more defiant each cycle. Perhaps it's time we reminded them of their place in the galactic order." "The Emperor has authorized a display of force," Maldrath confirmed. "Nothing too destructive, perhaps one of their smaller lunar colonies." "Prepare a battle group," Vorthal ordered. "Target Luna Base Delta. Its destruction should remind the humans of the cost of defiance without significantly impacting their production capabilities." 4 Keldorian cruisers detached from the main fleet, their sleek forms gliding toward Luna with predatory grace. Each ship carried enough firepower to level a small city, their graviton beams capable of tearing through Earth's most advanced shielding like paper. At Lunar Base Artemis, Admiral Reyes received the alert. Keldorian battle group on approach to Luna. They're targeting Base Delta. Her face hardened. They'd finally shown their true intentions. Commence Operation Titan. Launch the Defiance. Deep within Ceres, massive doors slid open in the asteroid's surface, revealing a cavernous construction bay. Within it floated humanity's secret weapon. The USC Defiance, a supercarrier over 3 kilometers long, its gunmetal hull adorned with the emblem of Earth's United Space Command. Unlike the elegant, organic curves of Keldorian vessels, the Defiance was a brutal testament to human engineering, a massive arrowhead bristling with weapon ports and launch bays. Its revolutionary drive system flared to life, propelling the massive vessel from its hiding place at speeds that should have been impossible for a ship of its size. Transit time to Luna. Rise asked, now aboard the Defiance's command bridge. 17 minutes at maximum burn. Admiral, the navigation officer reported. The Keldorians will open fire on base Delta in 15, communications warned. Rice's jaw tightened. Push the engines to 110%. We need to make a statement. The Defiance surged forward, its experimental quantum fold drive bending spacetime in ways the Keldorians had deemed theoretically impossible for primitive human science. On the Imperial will, alarms suddenly blared. High Commander, a sensor operator called out. Massive object approaching from the direction of the asteroid belt. Energy signatures off the scale. Vorthal rushed to the command deck, his usual composure slipping as the sensor data scrolled across his screens. Impossible. The humans don't have ships that size. It's accelerating, the operator exclaimed. Intercept with our battle group in 30 seconds. Vorthal's tendrils went rigid with shock. Order the battle group to break off and regroup with the main fleet. Now. But it was too late. The Defiance dropped out of its quantum fold directly between the Keldorian battle group and Luna, its massive form dwarfing the Imperial cruisers. On the Defiance's bridge, Admiral Rice stood before the main view screen, her expression resolute. Open a channel to all Keldorian vessels. When the communication line activated, she spoke with the calm authority that had made her legendary among Earth's forces. This is Admiral Elena Reyes of the United Earth Supercarrier Defiance. Your vessels are in violation of the Luna Sovereignty Zone. Power down your weapons and withdraw immediately. High Commander Vorthal's image appeared on the screen, his tendrils quivering with a mixture of rage and disbelief. This deception will not be tolerated. You've violated the technological development treaties. Treaties? Rise interrupted, her voice like steel. You mean the agreements you forced upon us while stealing our resources and treating our people like children. Those weren't treaties, Commander. They were chains, and humanity has decided to break them. Vorthal's eyes narrowed. This single ship, impressive as it may be, cannot stand against the might of the Keldorian Empire. Stand down now, and perhaps the Emperor will be merciful. Reyes smiled, a cold, dangerous expression that made several Keldorian officers shift uncomfortably. Who said the Defiance is alone? At that moment, across the solar system, the true extent of humanity's deception was revealed. From Mars, Jupiter's moons, and hidden bases throughout the asteroid belt, dozens of warships appeared, smaller than the Defiance but formidable nonetheless. For a decade, you've underestimated humanity's resolve and ingenuity, Rice continued. You've taken our resources, mocked our technology, and now threatened our homes. That ends today. The Defiance's weapon systems came online. Arrays of railguns, plasma cannons, and missile batteries, unlike anything the Keldorians had seen in human hands before. These are not weapons of aggression, Rice stated firmly. They are instruments of our freedom. Return to your Emperor with this message. Earth is not a subject world. We are not your servants or your children. We are your equals, and from this day forward, we will be treated as such. Vorthal's face had gone pale, the bioluminescent patterns beneath his skin flashing with alarm signals. The sensors were showing him the truth. These human ships carried weapons technology that matched or exceeded current Keldorian capabilities. This is impossible, he stammered. Your species couldn't have advanced this quickly. That's the thing about humanity, Commander, Rice replied. When backed into a corner, we don't surrender. We innovate. We adapt. We overcome. Now I'll ask once more. Withdraw your forces from Luna, or we will demonstrate exactly what the Defiance is capable of." For a long moment, tension hung in the vacuum between the opposing forces. Then, slowly, the Keldorian ships began to power down their weapons. "This is not over," Vorthal warned. "The Emperor will hear of this." Reyes nodded. "I'm counting on it. It's time for a new relationship between our peoples, one based on respect, not subjugation." As the Keldorian battle group retreated, cheers erupted across the Defiance's bridge. But Admiral Reyes remained solemn. She knew this was just the beginning. The Empire wouldn't accept this challenge to their authority without a fight. Humanity had revealed its hand. Now they would have to prove they could play the game. Turning the tide. The Keldorian response came swiftly and with overwhelming force. 3 days after the standoff at Luna, a massive Imperial armada emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the solar system. 50 capital ships led by the dreadnought Emperor's Wrath, the flagship of the Keldorian fleet. On Earth, the United Security Council convened an emergency session. Holographic displays showed the approaching armada, its formation spreading out to envelop the system. "They've brought a third of their total military strength," Defense Minister Zhang reported gravely. "This isn't a punitive expedition, it's an invasion force." Admiral Reyes studied the tactical display, her mind racing through scenarios. "They're expecting a conventional defense, our ships spread thin to protect individual colonies and installations. And we don't have enough vessels to match them ship for ship," General Alvarez of the Mars Defense Force added. "Even with every hidden ship we've built, we're outnumbered 3-1. Reyes's eyes narrowed. "Then we don't fight conventionally. Authorization to deploy the Chimera Protocol." The council members exchanged glances before President Okafor nodded solemnly. "Granted, Admiral. God help us all." Aboard the Defiance, now positioned in high Earth orbit, Reyes addressed the combined fleet commanders. "The Keldorians think they know our capabilities based on the Defiance and our escort ships. What they don't know is that we've been preparing for this day for over a decade." She activated a holographic display showing a complex web of installations throughout the solar system. Operation Chimera isn't just about ships. It's about changing the nature of space warfare itself. Commander Chen highlighted several points in the asteroid belt. Gravitational displacement mines are adaptation of their own technology. When triggered, they'll create localized distortions that will throw their precise formations into chaos. Neptune Station has been retrofitted with our quantum resonance array, Reyes continued. "Once activated, it will disrupt their communication systems and force their ships to operate independently rather than as a coordinated fleet." Lieutenant Commander Sato, their chief weapons officer, stepped forward. "Most importantly, the Defiance itself has capabilities we haven't yet revealed. The Spear of Athena is online and operational." Murmurs spread through the gathering. The Spear was humanity's most closely guarded secret, a directed energy weapon incorporating principles of physics that the Keldorians had dismissed as theoretical. "We can't match them in numbers," Reyes concluded. "But we don't need to. We just need to show them that the cost of subjugating Earth will be too high to bear." As the Keldorian armada approached Mars orbit, an ultimatum was broadcast across all frequencies: surrender your illegal warships, dismantle your military installations, and submit to direct imperial rule or face eradication. The response came not from Earth but from the void itself. Throughout the asteroid belt, hundreds of gravitational mines activated simultaneously, creating a cascade of spatial distortions that tore through the perfectly ordered Keldorian formation. A dozen smaller vessels were crushed instantly as space itself seemed to fold around them. High Admiral Zev Koren, commander of the Armada, gripped the arms of his command chair as the Emperor's Wrath shuddered from a nearby distortion. Status report. Formation compromised. High Admiral. We've lost contact with Battle Group 7, and Battle Groups 3 and 5 report severe damage. Zev Koren's expression darkened. So the humans have more surprises. Push forward with the remaining ships. Target their primary defensive installations. But as the Armada regrouped and advanced toward Mars, a new phenomenon occurred. Their normally crystal-clear quantum communications began to dissolve into static. Ship-to-ship coordination, the backbone of Keldorian military doctrine, became impossible. Neptune Station has activated the resonance array, Rise announced on the Defiance's bridge. Their ships are now operating as individuals, not as a unified force. She turned to her tactical officer. Deploy our swarm drones. From launch bays across the human fleet, thousands of small, unmanned craft surged forth, each barely larger than a fighter but equipped with engines that allowed them to outmaneuver anything in the Keldorian arsenal. The drones darted between the massive Imperial ships, their small size making them difficult targets for weapons designed to engage capital ships. They attached themselves to hull sections, engines, and weapon emplacements, then detonated with precision charges that caused targeted systems failures rather than catastrophic destruction. They're crippling our ships systematically, one of Zev Korin's officers reported, his voice tight with barely controlled panic. Not destroying them, just neutralizing our offensive capabilities. Zev Korin's eyes narrowed. This wasn't the desperate last stand of a doomed species. This was a carefully orchestrated strategy. All remaining battle groups converge on the human supercarrier. If we destroy their flagship, we break their morale. 20 Keldorian capital ships altered course, forming a spear point aimed directly at the Defiance. Admiral Rise watched the maneuver with grim satisfaction. They're taking the bait. Prepare the spear of Athena. Target the Emperor's wrath. Deep within the Defiance, a weapon unlike any other hummed to life. Based on principles discovered in the ruins of an ancient civilization on Mars, ruins the humans had kept hidden from the Keldorians. The spear utilized quantum entanglement to bypass conventional shields entirely. Spear charged and ready, Admiral, Lieutenant Commander Sato reported. Rice took a deep breath. Fire. There was no visible beam, no explosive projectile, just a momentary distortion in space between the Defiance and the Emperor's wrath. Then, with surgical precision, the massive dreadnought's main reactor core simply ceased to exist, quantum shifted to an empty region of space where it exploded harmlessly. On the Emperor's wrath, systems failed catastrophically as their primary power source vanished. Emergency backups engaged, but the mighty flagship was effectively neutered, unable to maneuver or fire its primary weapons. What just happened? Zev Korin demanded, his composure finally breaking. His science officer stared at the readings in disbelief. They somehow removed our reactor core. Just removed it from the ship. That's impossible. Across the Armada, Keldorian commanders watched in stunned silence as their unstoppable force was systematically dismantled by an enemy they had dismissed as technologically inferior. Admiral Rise opened a channel to the crippled flagship. Hi, Admiral Zev Korin. This is Admiral Elena Reyes. Your fleet is neutralized, your communications disrupted, and your flagship disabled. We could destroy your remaining vessels, but that is not our way. She paused, letting her words sink in. Humanity doesn't seek the destruction of the Keldorian Empire. We seek recognition as equals in this galaxy. Return to your Emperor with this message. The era of Keldorian dominance in the Orion Arm is over. A new age of cooperation between species begins today, or the next fleet you send will not be disabled. It will be destroyed. Hours later, the battered remains of the Keldorian Armada limped away from the solar system. Only 7 ships had been destroyed, all from the initial mine detonations, but every vessel had been systematically crippled in ways that would take months to repair. 3 months passed before the Keldorian response arrived, not in the form of another armada, but a single diplomatic vessel carrying the Emperor's own emissary. In the Grand Hall of the United Earth Government headquarters in Geneva, Admiral Rice stood in full dress uniform as Imperial Emissary Kelvoth presented the Emperor's message. His Imperial Majesty acknowledges the unexpected capabilities of humanity, the emissary stated, choosing his words carefully. He offers a revised treaty of cooperation between our peoples, recognizing Earth and its colonies as a sovereign territory and equal trading partner. President Okafor accepted the offered data crystal containing the treaty terms. We will review these terms carefully, emissary. Please convey to your emperor that Earth desires peaceful relations with the Keldorian Empire, but we will never again accept subjugation. After the formal diplomatic exchange concluded, emissary Kelvoth approached Admiral Reyes privately. Off the record, Admiral, how did you develop such technologies in secret? Our best estimates suggested humans were centuries away from quantum entanglement weapons. Reyes allowed herself a small smile. We've had help, emissary, not from any living allies, but from those who came before. Mars wasn't uninhabited when we arrived. The ruins there contain knowledge your people would have discovered had you seen us as partners rather than subjects. Kelvoth's expression showed genuine surprise. Ancient ruins, and you kept this hidden from us for a decade. Necessity is the mother of invention, Reyes replied, and desperation is a powerful motivator for secrecy. As the emissary departed, Commander Chen joined the admiral. Do you think they'll honor the new treaty? Reyes watched the Keldorian ship ascend into the clouds. They will. Not because they've suddenly developed respect for humanity, but because they fear what other secrets we might be hiding. She turned to her second-in-command with determination in her eyes. And that fear will keep the peace while we build something more valuable. Genuine mutual respect. In the years that followed, humanity's position in the galactic community transformed dramatically. The species once dismissed as charming little creatures was now approached with cautious respect by civilizations across the Orion Arm. The Defiance became a symbol not just of human military prowess, but of a species that refused to accept its assigned place in the cosmic hierarchy.